Yeah, truly. Cooler and I'm flyer too. Jam. Cooler and I'm flyer too.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. This is A1 Forever Sports, and I got my man T Will, one time for the fan, and also for my ATL Sports One with me, man. We was just bouncing ideas off of each other and decided to go ahead and go live, man. Why not? Hey, middle of the day, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, on a hoodie type day, man. It's a little chilly, a little nippy this morning, man. It was 43 degrees, so I'm happy to, what I'm saying, jump on a quick little podcast just to share some thoughts and everything. And T Will, what's good,
Yes.
man? How you feeling?
Hey, man, all good. Can't complain. Wouldn't matter if I did. Glad to be here, man. Glad to be talking some NFL with you. And hey, man, excited to see where we can take this with our fans. So without further ado, Chris A1 from day one, let's get to it, brother. Let's tell the
Yes,
folks what we
sir.
talk about. Let's go.
Hey, man, there's some NFL news, man. Just giving some thoughts about the NFL news. And it was said that it was going to take mountains. It was going to take all kind of arms and legs and kidneys, but the Jets traded for Devontae Adams, wide receiver Devontae Adams, three-time first all-team Pro Bowler, six-time Pro Bowler, three-time first-team All-Pro. And people thought it was going to take a lot to get him, but the Jets ended up getting him from the Raiders for a 2025 conditional third rounder that could possibly change into a second round. It's a lot of conditions in there. I believe they got to make it to the championship game and everything for it to turn to a second round. It's some things that have to go on for it to become a second rounder. But regardless, even if it doesn't, it's a conditional third round pick. T Will, what do you think about this trade, man? Do you think that this is gonna push the Jets over the hump and possibly AFC North, no, AFC East champions?
No. No,
Yeah.
I
Just to put it simple, huh? No.
don't. And you know
What,
what? Hey,
man? You talking about Pro Bowl? Man, they got the Pro Bowler
I know,
Devontae Adams, man. What you talking about, man?
right? What? Hey, they got. I mean, they can turn. Ooh, I'm sorry. They can turn water into wine. They got the cure for all. I mean, no, no, I don't see it. I'm not saying that they're going to not make the playoffs, although they could, but I just don't see this team making the Super Bowl. I don't for a plethora of reasons. Number one,
Right.
you got rid of the defensive cog or the guy or the coach behind why the defense performed so well. Your defense was your strong side of the ball, right?
Right.
Your defense was your strong side of the ball. You got rid of that. Now we'll get into why
I'm
a little
assuming
bit
you're
later.
talking about Robert Saleh.
Absolutely. We'll get into
Yeah.
why a little bit later in the show, but just looking at this thing offensively, I mean, the only thing you're going to accomplish, yes, you have Devontae Adams, but Devontae's probably going to get doubled, right?
Mhm.
And let's be honest. I don't have the most. I'm trying to censor myself, but sometimes you just got to say it. This is
So,
not the same Aaron Rodgers. This is not the same Aaron
yeah.
Rodgers. Okay, number
Right.
one. Number two, Aaron Rodgers doesn't love anybody more than himself. So the
No, he
minute
doesn't.
something doesn't go right, the minute Devontae drops a pass, guess who's going to get the blame for it? Because Aaron is, you know what I mean. So I just honestly, I don't see this working successfully. Now it could. Again, I'm not Nostradamus, and I can't see into the future. I'm not Professor X, and I don't claim to be. But just looking at this from the outside, yes, I know that Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers had a modicum of success in Green Bay, but this isn't Green Bay. This is 4, 5, 6, 7 years later, and I just don't see Aaron being the same Aaron. And it's a lot of things about this deal I don't like. Number one,
Right.
um, and we'll talk into it because maybe there's more to Salah's dismissal than this. Maybe he didn't want the trade.
Right.
Now,
I mean,
I
and I'm about to touch on that in 1 second here. But I mean, to put things in perspective, in 8 seasons together, Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams combined for 669 receptions, over 8,100 yards, 73 touchdowns. Adams had like 18 touchdowns in 2020, which helped lead to Aaron Rodgers' MVP season. So,
Hmm.
you know, at the end of the day, they have chemistry. So I think that's what they're kind of like hunting for there. I don't think that wide receiver was necessarily their problem. To be honest, I don't think so. I think they had decent wide receivers. I think Garrett Wilson is a playmaker. Lazard is a sneaky play. But I mean, you added Devontae Adams, so now you have a guy who's going to be the bona fide number one, and then you have Garrett Wilson, who probably will see softer coverage. Because he's not drawing the best defensive assignment. Hopefully, you'll make guys like Sauce Gardner in practice better. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not saying that he needs a whole lot of improvement, but it's just, hey, he has more that he can work with as well as being a second year guy. Learn from Devontae Adams, learn to work with Garrett Wilson and everything like he's been doing. So it's things that they can do with it. Are they a Super Bowl caliber team? I don't think so. I really don't think so. And I think it's coming down to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has not looked the best. I don't think, so I think he's made some throws to where I was just like, Aaron, what are you doing? And I know everybody's like happy about the Hail Mary, and he's the king of that. I'll give him that. He's the king of the
Oh,
Hail Mary, like
yeah.
still. But
Undis-
at the end of
un-
the day, though, every play is not going to be a Hail Mary. And you can't, just think that Devontae Adams is going to solve all their problems. Can Devontae Adams pass protect? Like, can Devontae Adams get after the quarterback? Like, I don't think he can do either one of those things. So we will see where this leads the Jets. Again, I don't think that the offense was their problem necessarily. I do think that they had guys who can make plays, and it wasn't like they was in the basement of the AFC East either. So we'll see what happens. Robert Sala, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I don't think Robert Sala wanted to trade for him, and I do think that he wanted to take the play calling duties from Nathaniel, and I think that may have been a problem. I do. He was going against it, and you know what happens, man, when you go against the grain. Sometimes, man, sometimes you go against the grain, and sometimes favoritism plays in effect because Aaron Rodgers and Robert Sala had 5 games, technically 5.1 games together if you want to throw in last season. So and it just didn't make any sense to fire him to me. It really doesn't. But Aaron Rodgers on the team, man, you just really never know because you've seen his track record, you've seen things. He's forced his way out of situations. He's held, what I'm saying, organizations under captivity. Talking about the Green Bay Packers, shoot, man, and really even talking about the New York Jets in a way. So again, back to the point about Devontae, I do not think that this makes them better overall. I don't. But real quick, before we even move on with this topic and jump into the next topic, definitely got to give a shout out to the chat, the people who are here on the afternoon time. Afternoon time. What's that? Chandrell Walton says, "Let's go."
Let's go, Chandrell.
Say in the bag, checking in from Twitter. What's good, my brother, my Falcon brother?
What's up, Zay?
C Dub,
Yeah.
what up, my crew?
What up,
Yeah,
C
he's
Dub?
yeah. C Double says, sure. Can Devontae pass protect? LOL. And Aaron is an old timer. Hey,
Yes.
that's what I was just saying. I'm like, yeah, I don't think he can pass protect or anything like that. And I don't think again the wide receivers were the problem. But that's just me. C Dub says, sup guys, and can Devontae pass protect? That's what I was trying to figure out, C Dub. Was definitely trying to figure that out. Is there anything else that you wanted to add to this topic, just in the Jets in total?
Jets in total, so not just the trade, but Jets in total, correct?
Yeah, Jets in total right now. Yeah, I mean, it's a part of it really kind of like goes with the timeline of the Adams trade.
Gotcha. Okay. I did not like firing Roberts. I didn't like that at all. And to me, this is just another chapter of Aaron Rodgers and him blaming other folks for issues
Mm,
that are ongoing with him. Okay. Aaron Rodgers is a first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. But
Mhm.
let's be honest, he's got one Super Bowl ring. And the one Super Bowl ring he got because of Mike, what's his name, in Dallas, and he threw him under the bus. Right? Now, you know what I mean? And I'm not gonna say he threw the current coach of Green Bay under the, I'm not gonna say he did that, but it seems
But you're
like
not
when,
gonna say he didn't.
yeah, I'm not gonna say he did that. But it seems like anybody that doesn't agree with it, it's like his ego is gotten too big. Yes, Aaron, you won a Super Bowl, you're a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I don't even know that you're the best quarterback right now in your own division. And to me, it feels like his ego writes checks that his you know what can't cash. I tell you
Ooh,
what, you fire Robert Sala, Aaron, you better win the Super Bowl. You better do it because
not.
you don't, it's not worth it. And this is just another story in the long line of Aaron Rodgers getting coaches fired. And I just don't like that. You know what I mean? I'm old school. I wasn't raised that way. My father
Right,
taught me
right.
respect authority. Now, I'm not saying, look, I'm not saying you got to kiss anybody's rear. And if Salah had his deficiencies, I could see that people argue that he didn't have a winning record as a coach. Well, he never had a quarterback. Now,
Right.
if you want to argue, well, it was Salah who drafted Zach Wilson. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to argue that, but you can't win in this league without a quarterback. You just can't. And good quarterbacks don't grow on trees. And I don't think it's fair to blame the man, you know what I mean, for not having a quarterback. He's a defensive coordinator. The Jets have had a good defense his entire reign here. Okay. You can
Mhm.
say that it's on the GM to draft a quarterback because you could argue assessing a quarterback is probably not in his skill set. But the bottom line is, I don't think that the performance this year was deficient or that deficient to the point to where he needed to be fired. And I just don't like moves like that because more times than not, they don't work out. Right? This is
Mhm.
not
Most time.
2010 Aaron Rodgers. This is not
It's
this
not
is
the same.
2024. It's 15, 14 years later.
Right.
Okay? That's number one. And number two, if you're gonna do that, right, I guarantee you that locker room is fractured. Now they might not admit it, they might not say it, but I guarantee you there's some folks in that locker room who did not like that move. Now, what does that mean? That means that
Yeah.
your locker room is not in line step. And in the NFL, you need that. Now, look, I'm not a Jets
Yeah, you
fan.
do.
I don't care either way. But I do not like it when players go after a coach. I don't like it. You could clearly see that from the beginning. What the hell was that exchange on the sideline? Like, who the hell is Aaron Rodgers to push a coach? Can we talk about that? Because let me tell you something. In my day, Aaron would have been spitting some teeth. I don't give a damn if you are. You gonna push a coach? What the hell was that, Aaron?
Hey,
What's
man.
this about? What kind of passive aggressive BS is this? You're not going to show up for a mandatory uh, camp meeting, practice, whatever the hell it was. Who are you to
Yeah.
not show up? And you know what that does? When you do that, it says to the team, "This is Aaron's team. This is Aaron's team." So look, um, hey, if they succeed, good for them. I'm not going to say that they're not succeeding, but I don't see it. I don't see it because to
Yeah.
a certain extent, your discipline just walked out the door. And yes,
Yeah.
you need play, you need synchronicity, but you also need discipline. I just didn't like it. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of view I kind of view Aaron Rodgers as a little shady, man. It's just my
Yeah.
opinion. What are your thoughts on it? I've been talking for 5 minutes. What are your thoughts?
Hey, man. Well, honestly, I mean, sure, you're making some valid points. I mean, I can't knock it, man. When you're right, you're right, and you mean you seeming like you're right. I don't know. We don't know what's going on with the Jets in their back room or anything like that. We don't. Again, I don't have a dog in the fight. If you lose for the rest of for the rest of your existence, that has nothing to do with me. I'm not a Jets fan.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, though, just this things being right, it just didn't seem right on how you just fire
Mm-mm.
Robert Sala after 5 games of Aaron Rodgers. It just was weird to me. Like, and Woody Johnson coming out. with that statement and just reading it and then just hearing how he was escorted out the building like he was a
That,
criminal. He didn't
that's
even get a chance to talk to address the team.
that is
Nothing.
respectful. That
It
that
was
that
just like,
that's that,
yeah.
that's cowardly. That that's
And
that's that's cowardly.
I've never seen something like that. That's why I was like, man, was he hostile or something? Like to be escorted out of the building, like I said, like a criminal or something, man. The man didn't even get a chance to address the team. They didn't want you talking to the team. They didn't want you nothing. And I'm pretty sure players still reached out to Robert outside of it. You know that text messages, phone calls. But
Mhm.
it just was weird on how they did that. And it also, I mean, let's just be honest. Normally, places like the New York Jets are places where careers go to die, which brings me right into my next point. Could that have been a reason why this guy is so tough, so hard to find for the New York Jets? Talking about Hassan Reddick. Now, people talk about that they have told the Jets have told Hassan Reddick, listen, man, all right, all right, go find you a trade. Go
Mm,
find it. Go find it. Wherever team wants you and that you think that's going to pay you, go find it. You have this guy, his agency. They tried to tell him, "Hey man, what the best to do?" And he like, "No, I'm standing firm. I'm standing pat. I need to be paid to be playing in New York." At one point in time, that's what I started thinking about because it's just such a mess up there. And
mhm,
it's just like, all right, if I'm gonna play for this franchise, man, pay me, man. Because people normally come up here for their career to die.
mm.
Normally, unless you're Darrell Reeves. You know what I'm saying? But it's like because he was drafted. But you know what I'm saying? But either way it goes, it's like the Jets just, I'm just saying, like the Jets have been one of those franchises like your career goes to die, almost like the Raiders. You remember Randy Moss? He fell hell off the cliff when he went over there. And then he
Yeah.
got picked up by the Patriots and then reminded everybody of who he was. So it
That's
just,
yeah, there's some
so,
environment.
so it just certain franchises, man.
Yeah, no,
I
I
just
I agree. And maybe I mean I look, I don't know. That defense I mean, look, the defense appeared to be playing well. And again, I don't know. I don't know if he lost the locker room. I don't know,
yeah,
but
we
I felt like number one for Woody, I can't think of Woody's last name, but for the owner of the Jets to
Johnson.
come and say, yeah, for him to say this is the most talented roster. I don't know that this is the most talented roster. You know what
Hey
I mean? So,
man.
and
You
again,
gotta big
sometimes
up your squad, man. You gotta big up your squad, just like how we
I,
gonna do for the Atlanta Falcons.
I get that, right? I do. I understand. But to say this is the most talented roster in the league, if this was 10 years ago, yeah, it would be. But it's not. This is 2024. I don't even know that Aaron Rodgers is in the top 10 as far as quarterbacks. Does he have a great arm? He does. But as
Hmm.
far as delivering here lately, no, no. When he went up to Minnesota, he threw two interceptions. That's on Aaron. That's on nobody but Aaron. It's not like he didn't have the talent. He sucked. Okay, that last throw, no, the throw before that, the throw before the interception, dude is running wide open, and Aaron missed him by a country mile. Who you can't blame that on anybody but Aaron. So
Hmm.
this is not the most talented roster. I mean,
Right.
they are right. They are right.
They
They're
got they
okay.
have talent, yes.
But it's not the most talented roster in the NFL. Like sometimes you can believe
No.
your own hype. Okay. Are the Falcons talented? Yes. But to go so far as to say they're the most talented in the NFL, they are a talented team.
Well,
I'm
he
not
was saying the most talented Jets team ever. Like, and that's what blew my mind. I was like, huh? And I
bro.
was like, well,
I
you feel how you feel.
I think Mark Gastineau would disagree with that, and everybody from that Jets defensive line of the '80s would disagree with that.
Yep.
Um, but the bottom line is, you can't believe
Yo, yo.
you have to be realistic. You can't believe your own hype. For you to say that's the most talented Jets team ever, you're lying to yourself and them. And even
Mhm.
beyond that, okay, even beyond that, I just do not think that this version of the Jets would get out of the AFC. The Chiefs will murder this. They will murder. They won't even be close.
I ain't gonna
Okay,
lie to you. The Ravens will beat the snot out of this Jets team.
right? They can't even beat the
I really
Bills.
do.
right?
All right.
So,
And I'm glad that you said that because that
yeah.
springboard me. Real quick about Hassan Reddick. Let me ask you this. So, with all this transpiring with the Jets,
Mhm.
is there any soft spot in your mind and your thoughts about Hassan Reddick not showing up for this franchise, requesting them to pay him? And do you think there's a shot that maybe Hassan may go somewhere else and just be like, hey, look, that franchise up there is pretty much a dumpster fire. I had to try to at least force my hand with them. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Y'all are a contender, depending on who it may be. I know you would have to talk to him yourself, not at this point in time because he has no representation. So you can basically talk right to him and see exactly like what's going on and maybe find out a little bit more. Would you be interested in possibly calling Hassan Reddick for the Atlanta Falcons?
Not at all.
I'm
Not
glad.
at
Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad. Just to keep it short, me neither. I'm still good on that headache. I don't want no parts of it unless it's just like that would have to be like an emergency glass breakage for me. Like, god dang, it's just like nothing out here, and we are suffering and we have injuries. Like all those will have to factor in. It's a lot. It's a lot that would have to factor in to still even take on Hassan Reddick for me.
the reason I wouldn't go and get Hassan Reddick is because you convinced Matthew Judon on the other side to play
Yes, sir.
existing deal. You know, coming in the door, Hassan is not going to play for without a contract. So if you pay him, what's that say to Matthew Judon? You've just created an issue in your locker room.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
you can't go out and get Hassan Reddick. You just can't by definition, unless you got a contract ready for both of them. And if you do,
Hmm.
you're gonna have to redo some deals, and you're probably going to have to get rid of some folks. And after
A
all
lot
that
of
said,
restructuring.
probably not worth right. It's probably not worth it. And then the other thing
Mhm.
is,
Worth the
um,
headache.
right. I try to consult wise counsel, and most of the content creators I've talked about it with, and Larry the Dixon Way, who's very very smart guy, very wise gentleman. We were on a show. I think it was me, you, him, and a bunch of other folks. But he was
Mhm.
like, "Look, man, this guy's own agent gave up." So
Yeah, I'm just saying, bro. That's what I was saying. His
right,
agency, you
right,
can talk to him directly, but it's just like the agency walked away. So it's just like, all right, what's really going on? The
correct.
only thing that would really fix this if, and I know it still wouldn't do him any justice, but if he came out and just said, look, the Jets are a bad organization. I just didn't want to really necessarily play for them. Yes, I want to be paid, but that place up there is just different. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the only thing that would save him, and I don't think he does that. Christy Lewis says Reddit gives me flashbacks of the Julio contract vibes. Woo. That I just got to chill just thinking about that.
Fair.
Say I don't want to see that. I don't see the Falcons wanting that, and I agree. I really
I,
don't.
I think that's a
That's
fair.
very fair. That is
I
very
think that,
fair,
I
man.
agree. I agree.
That
Yeah.
guy's a headache, and another reason why the Jets may not win the AFC East is because a team that is doing pretty well in the AFC East, the Buffalo Bills, also made a trade.
Yeah.
They just acquired Amari Cooper. And
Mhm.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm happy for Amari just because the Browns are a dumpster fire of a franchise right now. And it's also going to help Josh Allen, who had no true number one superstar since they lost Stephon Diggs to the Houston Texans. Honestly, I feel like that was best for both sides because for the Bills and Josh Allen, he doesn't have to worry about trying to force feed Stephon. And now Stephon's down there with CJ. And I think that they're loving each other. Right now, Nico Collins is down, so Stephon's targets are going to go up. But Stephon has been doing good down there for the Houston Texans. I think both sides, and Diggs and the Bills, are happy with how it played out. The Bills sent Cooper to the Bills received Cooper for a 2025 6th-round draft pick and a 2025 3rd-round draft pick and a 7th-rounder in 2026. Now, the reason why I think real quick, but that this is so significant is because Josh Allen is one of the quarterbacks who have one of the fewest completions per target, per game targeting wide receivers. It's only 8.5 receptions, aka completions, to a receiver per game. The only people who are lower than him are Justin Fields, Will Levis, Jacoby Brissett.
Mm,
So, and let's just be honest,
yeah,
Josh Allen is a better quarterback than all those guys.
absolutely.
We can at least be honest about that.
That last game against the Jets, Josh won that game. He willed that game. He really did.
Yeah, yeah, man. So it's
Great.
like, the Bills are 4-2 right now, and they just got better in the wide receiver room, acquiring Cooper, who Cooper had multiple offers apparently as well. Something they're trying to get from the Browns. And yeah, the Browns had fielded multiple offers here, and but ultimately he goes to the Buffalo Bills, and it's interesting because it's like this move came right after the Adams move, which made me think I think the Bills was trying to backdoor and try to get Devontae themselves
Could have been.
because it was like it happened so quick about the Bills acquiring Amari Cooper, so the Bills were probably looking into Devontae and just said, well, if that doesn't work, we still got Amari who's not happy over here, and they're not happy with him. So let's just go ahead and move on. So so that's another thing too. Mr. Wallace, what's good, family? How you feeling? Thank you for popping in and checking in with us once again.
How we doing,
Yeah,
Wallace?
man. Yeah, man. The thing about it is, with Cooper, he's had some struggles with the Browns, but ultimately he can't throw the ball to himself, right? So they have a quarterback issue over there in Deshaun Watson. I gave Watson some grace for at least about 4 weeks, to be honest, because I know he lost his dad. As a man who has lost his dad as well, in the past like year and a half, so now I understand how that happens. I still think about my dad every day.
Mhm.
So I get it. But at the same time, you're a professional. You're getting paid to go out there and lead and be a leader of men and lead
Mm.
these guys into the end zone or at least
Yeah.
into scoring position. And he just hasn't been doing that consistently. And Amari Cooper, he gets up out of there, man. He goes to a Buffalo Bills team that it seems to know what they're doing out there, man. They have their offense is clicking, their defense is playing well. They're playing optimistic defense. They're taking advantage of their opportunities.
Mhm.
So it's good, man. It is good. I really enjoy the fact that Amari gets to go to a contender and see what happens. That's another reason for me why I don't believe the Jets are just a lock. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that he's a lock, that the Jets are a lock to win this division
That's
because
our
of what
lot.
the Bills just did. Hey, man, I'm just saying, they're just thinking, they get Devontae. And in the
Bro,
beginning, when the news broke about Devontae, they're saying, hey, the Jets got a shot.
bro.
Then, next thing you know, the Bills get Cooper. And it's like, well, the Bills have a number one, too. And the Bills are still going to have a better shot. I still think the Bills now will win the AFC East. I think
Bro,
so.
I could name you 5 teams. I don't think the Jets will beat the Steelers. And they got the worst offense. I don't think the Jets will beat the Steelers. If the
Well,
Jets
yeah, yeah.
play in a playoff game today, my money's on the Steelers. My money's on Mike Tomlin.
Oh, yeah. I ain't
I
gonna
kn-
lie to you.
I
I'm going
know
with Mike Tomlin and the Steelers as well.
I
Just
know
because
they
of that defense and just the hard
there
nose of that team, honestly.
you go. There you go.
So
I know
yeah,
they won't
so
beat the Ravens. I know they
yeah.
won't beat
Oh no, 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 no. Not gonna
I
beat the Ravens, not
beat
gonna beat the Chiefs. Even a beat up Chiefs, you're not beating them.
you're not beating
So
them.
yeah,
So
so it just it's
yeah,
gonna be interesting. But I'm happy again, like I said, for Amari Cooper, and we're getting closer to Falcons topics, man. Really,
I got
with pass rushers and everything like that, we're already kind of getting to it.
no. I
But
got one. I got one.
okay,
You
well,
just brought up Mr. Deshaun Watson. Can we talk about the bullet that we dodged with that one?
oh
Can
yeah,
we?
we were definitely about to get into it. I don't have a banner made for it,
That's okay.
unfortunately. But at the same time, since we're talking about the Browns, yes, let's talk about the bullet that we dodged a few years ago, people. At the end of the 2020 season, Deshaun Watson was a quarterback to be sought after. Over 30 touchdowns, single digits in the interceptions, over 4,800 yards at the end of 2020. And then he had those allegations come by. He had those allegations come through, and I do believe the Texans set him up for that because he said he wasn't going to play for them. I do. But that's neither here or there. At the end of the day, the Falcons tried to get Deshaun Watson. The Falcons were all in on Deshaun Watson to the point to where Deshaun narrowed it down to the Falcons and I believe the Saints. And the Browns were already out. The next thing you know, the Browns throw that boatload of money, 230 guaranteed. Any man in his right mind would have, would have took that. I mean, that's life-changing money. I'm sorry, it is. And the rest is pretty much history now. Deshaun Watson has played. This is his third season with the Cleveland Browns, and in 3 seasons, he, including today, he's only accumulated 3,000 yards or a little bit over 3,000 yards total with the Cleveland Browns. And he hasn't even gotten over 25 touchdowns in 3 seasons. He had 7 touchdowns, and multiple interceptions, 5-4. So he has injuries. He hasn't been available. So it's just like, dang, they paid 230 almost for nothing. And the Atlanta Falcons dodged that bullet because if he was doing this production, if he was getting hurt, we still would have been in a crazy situation with no quarterback still. Revolving door at the quarterback position because he's either hurt or he's not producing. You still would have seen Ritter. You possibly still would have seen all these other guys anyway if they're being drafted or being acquisitions. So at the end of the day, y'all,
and
we dodged a bullet with Deshaun Watson.
His deal is fully guaranteed. So
fully guaranteed, bro.
Let me get this right. They got to give this guy $230 million, and I think he's with them for the next 3 or 4 years. I don't know the numbers, but I know. Thank God for Cleveland.
No, for real.
Every Atlanta Falcon fan on this planet should thank God for Cleveland every day, because if not for that, we'd be dealing with this. There would probably
seriously
be Raheem here. There'd be no Raheem. There'd be no Kirk. Bro, our franchise would be in an extreme state of disarray as opposed to where we are today. So, hey, man, thank God for you, Cleveland. Thank God, because man, saved us.
What Brian say? Yo, Cleveland.
Hey, that would
man.
Can you just imagine that, bro?
Bro, my thing is, can you imagine the stress for us Falcon fans dealing with that and realizing the fact that we don't maybe fully guarantee? Now, we wasn't going to give him 230, but let's hypothetically say we guaranteed 150 to him or 175 to him.
Let's say
boy, we would be in shambles. And when I say Falcon content creators would be losing their ish, Falcon fans would be losing their ish, because we still wouldn't have a quarterback. We got all these weapons, and we would look like the Cleveland Browns, because the Cleveland Browns got talent. They got talent up there. But it's just everything is not coming together as far as the talent, the quarterback play, the coaching. It's like every week is something.
Bro, you can have the best car in the world, but if you don't have a driver, it doesn't matter. If you don't have anyone that can drive that car, it doesn't matter. And I thank God every day that we did, because I think the deal we were going to give him was around 200 million. 205 million. So we'd have been on the hook for that. It would have been fully guaranteed. There would have been nothing we could do about it. And I mean, again, just imagine 3 years later where we'd be today. Like, folks would be up in arms. So thank God for that. I felt the need to drop that nugget in there because, for those of you Falcon fans who think, you know what I mean, it could always be worse.
It always can be worse. I'm a firm believer of that. I always say to tell people, I'm like, well, it could always be worse. Mm-hmm. And people be like, how can it get more worse than this? You don't want to find out. That's what I always say. I'm like, you really don't want to find out.
You don't, because their franchise is probably stuck. I don't see how they get out of it.
They have to pay him. There is no getting out of it. Man. You have to pay this man.
Yeah.
Like to do any real moves is unavailable. And you can't trade them. No one's taking on that contract. Deshaun
Right.
Watson right now is the DeAndre Hunter of how DeAndre Hunter is for the Hawks. You can't trade him. Nobody
Can't.
wants to take on that $70 million contract for someone who is not always available or is not consistent on offense, because this
Yeah.
is an offensive driven league. Most leagues are offensively driven now. So
Yeah.
defense is technically boring, but I still believe that it helps win championships. And that's where Deshaun Watson is. No one's going to take on that contract, that fully guaranteed contract, and put their organization in shambles. It's just unavailable.
You might as well paint a red A on his chest. What was that? What was
Yeah,
that?
man.
What book was that? The Crucible with
I
where she
think
Goldberg.
so.
Was that the Crucible? Anyway,
Don't
he's
start
got
me
the
lying. I want to say yeah, though. But
yeah.
yeah,
He's got the red, like the walk of shame and I'm not talking about off the field. I'm saying literally that contract is an albatross around his neck. Nobody's
hmm
gonna take him. Definitely an albatross
nobody.
neck of the Cleveland Browns. Nobody's gonna take him. So hey,
Well,
it is
where's my ladies? I need my ladies. That's why we need a lady up here so she can be singing that old Beyonce song. What it is? Thank God I dodged the bullet. Yeah. I need somebody to be singing that joint today, boy, because the
oh,
Falcons dodged the bullet
they
dealing
did.
with Deshaun Watson. And
They,
real quick before we get into our last joint talking about, of course, the Atlanta Falcons. Uh Max Crosby. For those who wanted Max Crosby, the owner, Mark Davis, big bag Mark Davis, has come out and said he is unavailable. Get your mind off it. Yes, we traded Deshaun. I'm sorry, not Deshaun. We traded Devontae. So many guys that name starts with a D. But then we traded Devontae, but we're not trading Max. Said Max is unavailable. And it's Mr. Wallace made a great point right here too about Watson. I think Watson still having that scandal in the back of his mind, and of course, I think so too. I think that's another thing. His mind is other places. He's lost his dad. He has these scandals. It's just a lot. He already has noise from the media constantly. So it's just
mhm.
like it's hard to play football. Not everybody has the mental capacity to deal with all that. Mental health is real, and we have to be real with ourselves. It may have been cool, like T Will, maybe me or you could deal with it. Maybe somebody else in the chat could deal with it, but it doesn't mean no matter who it is, doesn't mean every human being can deal with every situation just
That's true.
because they're in a high place.
Yeah, everybody can't compartmentalize. And look
No,
here.
at
I,
all. At all,
I'm
bro.
getting into what he did off the field, but that's number one, a stain that he's been carrying. You know what I mean? He's probably just working his way back from that, then injury. Let's be honest, the NFL is a league of repetition. So if you're out for 2 years, you're gonna feel it. It's gonna impact your performance. You know what I mean? You have to ask yourself at this point, is he even an NFL quarterback? Well, you don't really have to ask that with other quarterbacks out there, but he's definitely not top 20 right now. And you have
Right.
to wonder, is he ever gonna be? Right? So I don't know. And to C Dub, I'm just gonna say pause, man. I'm gonna say pause. I'm gonna leave it
Yeah.
right C Dub.
Yeah. Yeah. But like I said, man, Max Crosby, unavailable. Now I ain't gonna lie. Right now, that he's unavailable, maybe today. But we'll see what happens as the season goes on, y'all.
You
When you
think Mark
keep if
Davis?
you keep losing and then you keep losing, and then it's all about how you lose too. If they start getting blown out and all that stuff like that, man, things may change. We'll see. But
I don't
I mean,
I
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Because at the end
it,
of the day, do the Falcons need pass rush help? Yes, they do. They do, T Will. They
they
do.
they desperately need it. They desperately need it. Oh my
They
God.
desperately do, man. And I feel like honestly, I think the Browns are going to keep on losing. And I think the way that they keep losing is a possibility around the trade deadline. Maybe they make a move. Maybe we can possibly get Miles Garrett or something like that from him. But I just want people to understand getting Myles Garrett, you know what I'm saying, you're going to possibly give up some things. I'm talking about draft pick, possibly players, you know what I'm saying, draft capital that may hinder you in the future to build around Michael Penix. You're not sure how that will work out because you're not sure what they're going to ask for.
Right.
But we can all agree on one thing. That's a walking Hall of Famer down there over there, over there, up there in Cleveland. And if the Browns aren't going anywhere, then we need to at least pick up the phone, kick the tires, just at least ask, like, what will it take? What will it take? Because I believe the Falcons are just pass rush away from the Super Bowl. The offense is getting better. Kurt is getting more on time with receivers. The running backs, you know what I'm saying, they looked very, very well against Carolina. I expect them to try to build off of that. Drake is right now as a top wide receiver in the league. Darnell Mooney's not far behind. Ray McLeod is making plays. Kyle Pitts has almost 250 yards so far, even though he has a game where he didn't have any.
Yeah.
But I mean, my thing is like he's on pace to at least eclipse over 500, which is cool. You know, so we definitely want more. Definitely want more. Still a long season. Still a chance to, you know, since for everybody to at least get close to 600-700 yards apiece. Depends on the offense.
Yep.
But regardless, we are clicking. We're starting to click on offense. You know, we are starting to click on offense. We need some type of pass rush. You also have Jacksonville with Trayvon Walker. Jacksonville's not looking good either. I know they just recently traded a pass rusher, honestly, to our next opponent, the Seattle Seahawks, because they're beat up there too. They're beat up in the pass rush. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, man. It's really crazy. I feel like these teams, the more they lose, the better our chance is to gain a pass rusher because T. Will, you are a man who likes stats just like me. I'm pretty sure you have noticed that in the last few Super Bowls that this guy, the Super Bowl champions and the Super Bowl challengers, regardless, they have been top teams in the sack department.
Yeah, I think last year San Francisco and Kansas City were 1-2 in defensive
1
ranking.
and 2.
I think they were
1 and 2. And
Yeah.
then even in previous years with the Bucks, that year that they went, they were top league in the sacks. You had every year just about you have guys who are at least in the top 10 in sacks going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We are at the bottom of the league. We are 32nd. We are 31st in pressures. We have coming into the Panthers game, we had a 3.3% sack rate. That's just not going to cut it. And my thing is we're winning, and I am happy as a winner, and I'm happy to be at the top of the division, but I'm just looking at the bigger picture, y'all. We couldn't generate any sacks against the Red Rifle. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't generate no sacks against Andy Dalton and a beat-up offensive line. It wasn't like he had the Chiefs' offensive line back there or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like he had a beat-up offensive line, and we still didn't generate no sacks no matter what happened. We didn't generate no sacks. We did not get the quarterback on the ground. And if you think about it, if things just don't go our way, you know what I'm saying? Let's say we don't get any turnovers that game. That game becomes a more closer game than what it appears from 38-20. Because they were driving the ball and they were staying in the game. So you have to get guys who can flip the field for you, who can be a game changer for you, and somebody that can help the other side. Matthew Judon is doing the best that he can, guys, and he just doesn't have the help on the other side. And I'm an optimistic fan always. But if somebody just comes up to me right now and just says, "Look, Chris, Tip, A1, whatever which name you want to call me," it's just like, do you believe the Falcons pass rush will get better? I don't want to hear no dancing around. I don't want to hear no conditions. I don't want to hear none of that. I just want a clear yes or no answer today. Do you believe that? My answer is no. I do not believe the Falcons pass rush as it is standing right now will get better unless you switch some things up. I think you need to play Aurora some more because I'm seeing flashes from him and I think he deserves more playing time. I think you need to start trying to see what combinations you have. I think you need to try to see, like, is Dorless going to be anything? I do believe that Braylon Trice, if he didn't tear his ACL, he'd have been taking snaps from Lorenzo Carter and Albert Arnicati, but he's not available. So you have to see what else you have. And if you don't have anything, then guess what? You need to pick up the phone. I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying because I don't want to be one of those teams that has everything going for them. Everything's going good. And then T Will, you seen it. You seen more football than me. You know that if a glaring problem doesn't get corrected, it shows up at the worst time ever.
That's true. That's true.
I
Now,
don't want to be one of those teams, fellas.
yeah. Here's the thing, right? The Falcons and here's the funny thing. Everything that you said is true, right? If you look just at the yards, we look pretty bad on defense. But the other part about that is you have to see it in context. We got to be stingy in the red zone. So we'll give you from the 20 to the 20. You got that. But you get into the red zone, the field confines, the defense shortens up, and they bow their necks in most cases, not in all cases. You're gonna get a field goal, right? So even if we look at these two past games, we gave up three this game to the Panthers. I think we may have given up six against the Bucks. We do a great job of adjusting for the second half. I'll give them that. Now, the one thing I agree with you is you can't live like that forever. At some point in time, you're going to have to get to the quarterback. And Raheem doesn't want to get there with five. He wants to get there with four and leave seven back in coverage. And we saw that, and we saw why in that game against Carolina, because there were two specific times where they blitzed the guy, and Dalton threw it right where he wasn't, and it was a completion for a first down, and then the other was a completion for a touchdown.
Yep.
So
We got gashed every time that we tried to blitz, and they
yeah.
picked up big plays off of it.
Yeah. So, you could argue that, maybe you disguise blitzes. I get that. And that may work in the first half, but against a team that, has a decent quarterback who can read coverages, second half, you'd have to adjust anyway. So it's easier if you can get there with four guys. It is easier. I mean, I'll give you that. We definitely need somebody on the other side of Judon, but I mean, who that's going to be and what it's going to cost, and are these folks even available? For what we're trying to do, right? Because again, we're already down two picks for next year. And I know there are
Yep.
people of the opinion F those picks. And I get it. I understand. I understand. I'm not saying if you're right or wrong. I'm simply saying if you're gonna do something, let's go and get something of value, right? Let's just not
Right.
go and get a Hassan Reddick who's probably going to cause more problems than it's worth doing. Let's go and get somebody of value that's not only going to impact us today, but impact us tomorrow in a positive way. So if we're going to trade for somebody, I don't just want to trade for a rental, right? I want to trade for
Mhm.
somebody that's going to bless us today, bless us next year, maybe the year after that, right? I mean, I'd love to trade for Myles Garrett, and you know, I do almost anything to get him. I wouldn't trade a running back, but Kyle Pitts will be gone in the New York Minute. And no disrespect to him, Kyle has the ability to be a great tight end. I'm not taking anything away from him. I think we could live without Kyle. I think trading one of your running backs could probably come and get you. I think you know,
Mhm.
even though it's a surplus, is it really a surplus? Because again, something could happen, and now you're down to one running back in Jason. I just don't want to be in that situation. But just about anything else, I'm willing to do to get Myles Garrett in here. The guy from Jacksonville, I don't know what it would take. I think I would say arguably less than that. But
I think all those guys, man, to be honest, Trayvon, I think it'll be less to get him. Uh it may be a little bit less to get Michael Parsons, Only because I'm just thinking about the numbers that Miles Garrett has put up. Like
Yeah.
Miles Garrett has put up better numbers than Trayvon, than um Trayvon Walker, and also who you just we just said Michael Parsons, So it just I think that it's gonna require a lot, maybe. I'm hoping not. I'm really hoping not, because I'm hoping that they're going to want to get off of him, but that's a walking Hall of Famer, so you just never know. To Mr. Wallace's point, yep, that 2022 Super Bowl honestly was a crazy year, because both teams didn't even have over 40 sacks, but they both made the Super Bowl. We're talking about the Rams and the Bengals.
Mhm.
Um, so I mean, it is a chance of you getting there without
Who was the defense coordinator of that team? The
um
Rams.
Rams. Oh, you already know is Raheem Morris,
Ah,
so
okay. All right. So
you
it
know what I'm
can
saying. So
it
so
can
it,
be done.
it can be it can be done, but
Now,
I'm not willing to put all my eggs in that basket and believing that that can just happen.
well, they did have Mama, there go that man again, Mister Aaron. What's Aaron's last name? Jesus, greatest
Aaron
defensive.
Donald.
Yeah, they did have Mister Aaron Donald. So that's kind of that needs
And
to
I
be.
mean, Trey Hendrickson was on the other side for the Bengals.
Yeah, but I mean, Aaron Donald, man, bro, that dude's a monster. Okay, that is a
Hmm.
first ballot Hall of Famer. That you could argue he is the best nose tackle, defensive tackle to ever live. Okay, and you might not get a lot of naysayers. You could make that argument, but again, to your point, you can get there without having the most sacks. I mean, again, this formula is working. It is
Hmm.
working. You know what I mean? We are
It
winning,
is.
and it's not like we're
I
winning.
guess my thing is I'm optimistic about it, but my thing is, for how long, bro?
Right.
That's
Agreed.
all I'm saying. How long? Like,
It's a valid concern. That's a valid concern, Chris. I mean, look,
because my thing is, people aren't stupid forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, all I'm saying is, like, reason why I say that is people get paid to scheme against what you do and what you can't do.
right.
What happens when you go against coaches that saying, hey man, we're gonna do this,
Hmm.
and you know what I'm saying, they're not gonna be able to get to our quarterback, hang in the pocket, we'll be able to attack here and attack there. The good
Right.
thing is, on the back end, no one is open. So that's another reason why the formula is working, because you do have Jesse, you do have Justin, and the cornerbacks are playing well. Guys are not being open like that. You're having linebackers that are doing their job. It's just you're not getting the quarterback on the ground.
Right.
And I just feel like that's, in the long run, a recipe for disaster.
I,
Not being able to put fear in the quarterback. If a quarterback is out there fearless against you, it doesn't matter what the talent level is. That quarterback has confidence. Confidence can take you a long way, and then you have things working your way.
yeah. Well,
Um,
you can scheme, right? You can blitz on certain downs. You can. I mean, you don't want to. I don't think that with this iteration of our defense, Raheem wants to do that. That's clear. But I have seen him blitz. I have seen him get there with the blitz. Um, but again, clearly he wants to get there with force. So I get it. Um, I'd like to have a pass rusher, but it just depends on if sometimes there's just not a deal out there. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just not, it's one thing to say, oh, go make a deal, go make a deal, go make a deal. But, again, this is what I'm thinking about. You got to sign Jesse the end of next year, I think. His deal's a 3-year deal. So end of
yeah.
2025, you have to
I
resign him.
mean, he's getting extended.
Right, right. You
Jesse's
got to
getting extended.
you got to extend him. Um, you got to have probably a backup, a tackle for Penix on his blind side coming up in 2026, right? So,
Hmm.
so
Right.
how?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. You can't give up a crazy amount of draft capital.
There
It's
you
like
go.
it's got to make sense. Like, I
Yeah,
mean, I'll give up a second rounder, and I'll give up maybe a pick in 2026 draft. You know what I'm saying, for Miles. Like, I'll do that. Like, matter of fact, how you seen how they did with Amari Cooper? If I could possibly do maybe a player like, for example, if I could do a Arnold Albuquerque, a second round pick, and maybe a 5th round pick in next year's draft, I'll pull the fucking trigger. Yeah, they can even have Lorenzo. They can even have. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I do it only because Albert. I believe he's still on his rookie deal, so it's just like it gives some flexibility there. You still have a draft pick, 2nd round. It's a few things. Okay. Oh yeah. That's right. That's right. But yeah, man, this was a quick. Man, it wasn't a quick. It turned into almost an hour, but we just wanted to give some thoughts, man. Me and T Will getting after it. And honestly, man, we're gonna definitely be back for more. T Will, real quick before you get up out of here, man, please give people and let them know where they can find you.
First and foremost, I got to give thanks to you, brother. For those of you who don't know, Chris does all my videos, but more than that, Chris is my friend. And I appreciate you, brother, for giving me a chance to hey, get on this thing with you and just give my thoughts on it, and I love doing this. So first and foremost, I got to thank you. Secondly, and above anything else, I got to thank God. I appreciate him. Thank you, Lord, for everything that you've done, for everything that you continue to do. Would be nothing without you. Got to thank you. Last but not least, hey, thanks to everyone in the chat. Appreciate you guys for showing up. This is why we do it, for you guys. So just appreciate and really are thankful for all of you in the chat. Last but not least, I can be found at One Time for the Fan, typically on Sunday nights at 8, Wednesday nights at 8, Friday mornings 9 a.m. Also, I can be found at For My ATL Sports 1 on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Again, please like and subscribe For My ATL Sports 1 on YouTube. Friday nights, we'll have a show this Friday, of which I believe Mr. Chris A1 will be a part of, where we get into the Falcons options to trade for a pass rusher. And we will have our special guest, Mr. Scott Karisic, to kind of give us the numbers and walk us through what's possible and maybe what's not so possible. Also, got to give a shout out to C Dub, one of my team members. I'm on his show. He's on my show. He's a regular on our Friday night show, so definitely appreciate him. Shout out to Lisa Shepard. Shout out to Tiff Rain. Shout out to Jabri Harper. Definitely shout out to you, Chris, because you're on a lot of my shows. I'm on some of yours, so appreciate you. Got to give a quick shout out to my One Time for the Fan folks. Obviously, Mr. Jack Spade, mentor and friend, got me in this business. Got to give a shout out to my little big brother, Eric Parker. And last but not least, Carrie and Bodie 3000, man. Got to thank y'all. And hey, man, appreciate y'all. You guys have a great day. Thanks for having me. I got to run. I will see you tonight at 8 for our regularly One Time for the Fan program. And hey, man, you guys have a great day. Chris, thank you, brother. I will see you when I see you, my friend.
Yes, sir. In a minute. Yes, sir, man. That was my man, T Will, man. I'm about to get up off here as well. Thank you guys for tuning in to this NFL conversation, just some afternoon NFL talk. Like I said, me and T Will, we was just bouncing ideas off of each other, bouncing thoughts, and we were just like, hey, man, instead of just talking about it in the text message, let's present it to the world, present it to all Falcon fans, NFL fans, just to hear it. And to get people through this hump day, just like Miss Christy Lewis here. It's never a problem. We do this for the fans, also for ourselves, of course, but definitely, without the fans, this is impossible. Okay. Because it's not easy coming up here, giving our thoughts and opinions and then having you guys relay your thoughts. And sometimes you guys in the chat really give us a different perspective as well, too. So thank you guys for being a part of this. I'm about to get up out of here, too. Make sure you check us out tonight. It will be the 95 North Sports Machine. Me, Berto, Smitty, Bro Talk. So we have a special guest coming in to preview the Seattle Seahawks versus the Atlanta Falcons. That will be at 9 p.m. Eastern time tonight, just because time difference. We have a guy coming from the West Coast. You definitely don't want to miss this. It's going to be a great show. It's going to be a lot of fun. Falcon fans, 9 p.m. Make sure you show up. Make sure you be there. Me, Smitty, Bro Talk, and Berto. We're going to be doing our thing. Make sure y'all check us out. And peace and blessings to you guys. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Don't hurt nobody. Make sure you find your peace today. And until next time, I will holler.
Yeah, truly. Cooler and I'm flyer too. Jam. Cooler and I'm flyer